So for the dress, you can use whatever red color yarn you want, whether it be the bright red, cherry red, or the sparkle red. For this dress, I'm going to use my sparkle red. And you're going to take and fold the yarn over on itself to form a loop. And then take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down and then cinch the loop around the crochet hook. And now we're going to make a chain. So we're going to start, I'm in video tutorial, I'm just going to show you 4 chains. But you're going to finish a chain of 43. So just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, 4. So go ahead, finish a chain of 43 and then come back. After you finish your chain of 43, you're going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So you just yarn over and then you're going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to go into that 4th chain from the hook and bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2. You have 2 loops remaining. Yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the 2 remaining loops. Then you're going to make 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. So go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, make a double crochet, and then just make 1 double crochet in every stitch back across. I'm just going to make a couple of them with you. So go ahead, finish making 1 double crochet in every stitch back across, and then come back. So now you should have 41 double crochet stitches after you finish your last double crochet, and now we're going to slip stitch into a circle. So you can decide which side you want for your right side. So the right side will be facing you, and you're going to go back to that first double crochet on the opposite side. And you're going to go into the top stitch of that first double crochet. So remember, we made a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, which created your first double crochet on the end. And you have your first chain, the middle 2nd chain, and then you have that top chain. So you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to go into that top stitch of that first double crochet on the opposite side. And then you're just going to make a slip stitch. Just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook to make a slip stitch. Then you're just going to chain 1, and then you're just going to take that loose yarn end and then join the bottom portion of the ring. So you just take your tapestry needle and take that loose yarn end at the bottom and then just join the bottom of the ring to complete the circle. Make sure it's not twisted. Then you can just take and tie a knot to join the bottom of the ring. Now you're going to use this loose yarn end at the bottom that you used to sew as a yarn marker, so you'll know when you complete the round when you get back to that loose yarn end. So you're going to take and go into the next stitch over and make a single crochet, and then you're going to make one single crochet into each stitch around until you get back to where you started. So now I have 39 stitches total, and I have the 2 stitches here before I get back to my first single crochet for the round. So I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together so that I end up with a stitch count of 40. So I'm going to go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, go into the next stitch over and bring up a loop, and then I'm going to yarn over and go through all 3 to make a single crochet 2 stitches together, or a decrease stitch, so that I end up with 40 stitches in the round. Now for the next round, I'm going to go ahead and use a yarn marker. So I'm going to place it right where I left off. And then you're going to start the next round with a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to make a single crochet into the 4th stitch. And then you're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip 3 stitches and then make a single crochet into the 4th stitch. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So chain 3, skip 3 stitches, and then make a single crochet into the 4th stitch. So go ahead, repeat this pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker. So now I've made it back to my yarn marker in my first chain 3 loop, and for this next round you're going to chain 3, you're going to skip over the chain 3 loop and then make a single crochet in the previous row's single crochet. And this is how my work looks. So I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm skipping the chain 3 loop and then making a single crochet in the previous row's single crochet. And then you're repeating that pattern all the way around back to the yarn marker. So now I'm back to where I started. I'm going to go ahead and just remove this yarn marker and just use the yarn marker at the bottom to keep track. And I have a total of 10 chain 3 loops around and back to where I started. Now you're going to make a slip stitch into that next chain 3 loop. So go into that chain 3 loop and make a slip stitch. So just yarn over and bring the yarn through that loop and then back through the loop on your hook. Then you're going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to make a double crochet into the first single crochet in the previous round. So yarn over, go into that single crochet stitch from the previous round, bring up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2, and then yarn over and go through the last 2 remaining loops to complete a double crochet. Then you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to go into that triangle that you formed. You're going to go around the post of the double crochet. You're going to bring up a loop. You have 2 loops on the hook. You're you're going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through both loops for a single crochet. Then you're going to go back into the triangle around the post of the double crochet, bring up a loop, and then make another single crochet. And then you're going to go back into the triangle behind the double crochet, bring up a loop, and then make your last single crochet. So we just made 3 single crochet around the double crochet that we had made. Then you're going to slip stitch into the next chain 3 loop, and we're just going to repeat. So you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to make a double crochet into the single crochet from the previous row. So just yarn over and then go into that single crochet from the previous row, bring up a loop, and then just make a double crochet. Then we're going to make 3 single crochet around the post of that double crochet. So you're going to go into the triangle and bring up a loop, and then make a single crochet. Back into the triangle, bring up a loop, make a single crochet, and you're going to make 1 more, so a total of 3 single crochet around the post of the double crochet. And you can see how it's forming these triangles. So this is the same crochet stitch that I used for my shark slipper teeth. So I have a separate video tutorial for the shark slipper teeth, or shark slippers I mean, and this is the same stitch that I used, or similar stitch that I used for the shark teeth. So now you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So I'm going to make 1 more with you. I'm going to slip stitch into the chain 3 loop, the next chain 3 loop. I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to make a double crochet into the single crochet from the previous round. And then I'm going to make 3 single crochet into the triangle and around the post of the double crochet. So I'm going to go into that triangle, bring up a loop, and make a single crochet, and then repeat it 3 times around the post of the double crochet. So here's my second single crochet and my third. And then you're going to repeat this all the way around, back to where you started, and then come back. Now I have a total of 10 triangles in that last round. Then after you finish your last triangle, go ahead and make a slip stitch at the base of your first triangle. So go into that base of the first triangle and then yarn over and bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Then you're going to slip stitch up to the point of the first triangle. So go into that first stitch of the next triangle and then make a slip stitch. And then you're going to make a slip stitch all the way up to the point of the top of the triangle. So right now I'm at the tip of the triangle, that first triangle. So I'm going to chain 1. Then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to single crochet at the top of the next triangle. So I'm going to go to the top of the next triangle and then make a single crochet. And I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way back to where I started. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to single crochet into the top of the next triangle, and I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to where I started. So now I'm back to where I started. I finished my last chain 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my first triangle. And then I'm ready for the next round. So this is how my work looks so far. So now for the next round, you're going to make a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So after you make your chain of 7, you're going to make a single crochet into the top stitch of the previous row's single crochet. So again, chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then make a single crochet into the single crochet from the previous round, which should be at the tip of your triangles. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. So now I'm back to where I started, and I finished my last chain 7, and I'm going to slip stitch at the base of that first chain 7 loop that we made. So you just make a slip stitch to finish that last chain 7 loop. Then you're going to slip stitch into the first chain 7 loop in the round. And then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make a single crochet into that same chain 7 loop, and then chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to make a single crochet into the previous row's single crochet. So you can see that we're making 2 chain 3 loops for the previous row's chain 7 loop, and you're going to repeat this all the way around back to where you started. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make a single crochet into the next chain 7 loop, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make a single crochet into the previous row's single crochet, and you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to where you started. So now I'm back to where I started. I finished my last chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch, actually I'm going to single crochet into the previous row's beginning stitch to finish the round. Let me see if I can get into that stitch a little bit better. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and make a slip stitch in mine to join the round. So now we've increased our chain 3 loops to 20 chain 3 loops in the round. So you can see how it kind of flares out your dress for you at the bottom. And then we're going to make a slip stitch into our first chain 3 loop. So go into that first chain 3 loop, make a slip stitch, and then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to make a double crochet into that single crochet from the previous round. So go into the single crochet from the previous round, and then complete a double crochet. And just like we did for the triangle from the previous triangle round, you're going to make 3 single crochet around the post of the double crochet. So you're going to go into the triangle, go behind the double crochet, bring up a loop, and then just make your first single crochet. And then you're going to make 3 single crochet around the post of that double crochet, just like we did for the previous triangle design. And you're going to repeat that triangle design in each of the chain 3 loops around. So you're going to slip stitch into the next chain 3 loop, and then chain 3, and then double crochet into the next single crochet stitch from the previous round, and then make 3 single crochet around the double crochet. So go into the triangle, go around the post of the double crochet, and make your single crochet. And you're going to repeat that 3 times around the double crochet post. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. So I just finished 20 triangles around, and I finished my last triangle. Then I'm going to make a slip stitch into the base of the first triangle. So just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then to get ready for the next round, you're going to slip stitch up the next triangle to the tip of the triangle. So you go into that next stitch on that first triangle, and then make a slip stitch, and then you just go into each stitch, slip stitching until you get to the top of the triangle. So here's the top of the triangle. Then you can make a chain of 1, and then we're going to get ready for the next round. So for the next round, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make a single crochet into the top of the next triangle. So go into the top of the next triangle and then just make a single crochet. And then you're just going to repeat this pattern, making the chain 3 loops, chain 1, 2, 3, and then making a single crochet into the top of the next triangle. And you're making these chain 3 loops all the way around back to the beginning. So now I'm finishing my last chain 3 loop. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first triangle that I started for the round. So I'm going to make a slip stitch, and then that finishes the round with 20 chain 3 loops all the way around. Then you're going to slip stitch into the first chain 3 loop, and then you're going to make a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to double crochet into the single crochet from the previous round. And then you're going to make 3 single crochet into the triangle around the post of the double crochet. So you can see how we're alternating these 2 rounds now, the chain 3 loop round and then the triangle round. So now after you finish your triangle, you can slip stitch into the next chain 3 loop. Then you're going to chain 3 and then double crochet into the single crochet stitch from the previous round. And then you're going to make 3 single crochet into the triangle around the double crochet post. And you're just going to repeat this all the way around back to where you started. I finished my last triangle for the round, and I have 20 triangles total. Now I'm going to make a slip stitch into the base of that first triangle that we made. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Now you can finish off if you want this length for your skirt. which for one of my elves I made this length, but for this doll I want to make the skirt a little longer. So if you want to make additional rounds, then all you would do is just slip stitch up that first triangle. So I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that first triangle from the previous round. And just like we did before, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to get ready for my chain 3 loop round. So for the chain 3 loop round, you just chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make a single crochet into the top stitch of the previous row's triangle. And then I repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning. Then after you finish your last chain 3 loop, you just slip stitch into the top stitch of that first triangle, and then you just slip stitch into the first chain 3 loop, then you chain 3, and then double crochet into the previous row's single crochet. Then you just go into the triangle and make your 3 single crochet, just like we've done before. And then you just repeat making your triangles, go into the next chain 3 loop, make a slip stitch, chain 3, double crochet into the single crochet from the previous round. And then just keep repeating, making your single crochet into the triangle, 3 of them around the base, around the post of the double crochet. And then you just keep repeating this all the way around. So now I finished the last round of triangles. Then I've already made my slip stitch at the base of the first triangle that I made. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Now to bury your loose yarn ends, you just take your tapestry needle and put the loose yarn end onto the tapestry needle and just take and weave it through the wrong side of your work. So I'm just going to go a couple of directions. And then once it's nice and buried, I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Now we're going to work on the inside of the skirt. So now you're going to go ahead and turn your skirt inside out so that the wrong side is facing you. And then you're going to find the back seam, which is where you have your loose yarn end. So here's my loose yarn end, and I have my wrong side facing me. Then you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to go into that first chain 3 loop and then bring up a loop with your deep sea colored yarn or whatever color yarn that you used for the body of your doll. Then you're just going to take and chain 1 and then tie a knot. Then you're going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to count as your first double crochet for this round. Now you're going to make 2 more double crochet into this chain 3 loop so that you'll have a total of 3 double crochet, including the first chain 3 counting as a double crochet. So you yarn over, go into the chain 3 loop only. Bring up a loop and then make a double crochet. and then you're going to make one more so that you have a total of 3 double crochet in that chain 3 loop only. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the single crochet stitch. So just yarn over, go into that single crochet stitch, and then make your double crochet. And then that brings you to your next chain 3 loop in the round, and you're going to make 3 double crochet into that chain 3 loop space. Then that brings you to the single crochet that's between the 2 chain 3 loops. You're going to make a double crochet into that single crochet stitch only. Yep, I missed it. There we go. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to the beginning. So chain 3 double crochet into the chain 3 loop, and then 1 double crochet into the single crochet stitch that separates the 2 chain 3 loops. And then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning and then come back. So now, after I finished my last double crochet, I have 40 double crochet in the round. I'm going to make a slip stitch into the top stitch of the first chain 3 that I made. Then we're going to move up to the next round. So you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So this next double crochet round is going to be an increase round, which means we're going to increase the number of stitches in the round. So this first chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, and we're going to make 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, which will give us a total of 3 double crochet, 1 double crochet into 3 stitches. Then you're going to make 2 double crochet into the 4th stitch, and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to where you started. So you're going to make 1 double crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochet into the 4th stitch, and then repeat that pattern all the way around back to where you started. Now you should have 50 double crochet stitches in the round. Go ahead and make a slip stitch into the top stitch of that first double crochet that you made, and then we're going to chain 3 to move up to the next round. 1, 2, 3. So this next round is also going to be an increase round, so we're going to increase the number of stitches in the round. So this first chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet, and we're going to make 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And then you're going to make 2 double crochet into the 4th stitch. So you have 1 double crochet, including the chain 3, as 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochet into the 4th stitch. And you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around back to where you started. So 1 double crochet into 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochet into the 4th stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning. So now I'm back to the beginning. I have 2 stitches remaining. Go ahead and just place 1 double crochet into each of the 2 remaining stitches, and then that will bring you to a stitch count of 62. Then just make a slip stitch into the top stitch of that first chain 3 that you made. Then you can chain 3 to get ready for the next round. So now for the next 2 rounds, you're only going to make 1 double crochet into every stitch around. So make sure that after you finish this round, you slip stitch into the top stitch of your first chain 3 that you made, and then chain 3 again for your second round of 1 double crochet into every stitch around. So after completing 2 rounds of 1 double crochet in every stitch, this is the length that I have of the inner portion of the dress. Now since I made this skirt a little longer, I'm going to make 1 more round of the double crochet. So instead of 2 rounds like you just completed, because I have the longer skirt, I'm going to make 1 more round of 1 double crochet in every stitch around. Then when you have the length that you want for the inner skirt, go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury your loose yarn end. Then you can take your tapestry needle and just weave the loose yarn end into your work. And then just trim it. Then you can turn your dress inside out so that the right side is showing, and you can see how the beautiful deep sea blue shows through the skirt, the red skirt, and it just looks really pretty. Now we're going to go to the top portion of the dress. We're going to make the top part of it. So you still have the right side facing you. Try to find the back seam, and that's where you're going to start. So it may be a little bit difficult trying to find it, but this is my back seam. And then I'm going to join the same red sparkle yarn, or the red that you used for the outer portion of the skirt. So I'm going to bring up a loop with the yarn, and then chain 1, and then tie a knot. And then I'm going to bury my loose yarn end as I crochet. Then you're just going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to make 1 double crochet. Go behind your loose yarn end and bring up a loop. And then just make a double crochet. And then you're just going to make 2 rounds of 1 double crochet in every stitch around. And I had a total of 41 double crochet for each round. Now when you finish your first round, just like you've done before, you're going to slip stitch into the top stitch of your first chain 3 that you made, and then you're going to chain 3 to move up to the second row, and then just make 1 more row of 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So 2 rounds of 1 double crochet in every stitch around, and again my stitch count is 41 double crochet for each round. So this is how mine looks after making 2 rounds of 1 double crochet in every stitch. Now we're going to make the back straps that go around towards the front. So the first thing you're going to do is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So you have a total of 4 double crochet. Then we're going to move up to the next row, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and turn your work. And then you're going to make 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And you're going to maintain a stitch count of 4. So 4 double crochet for each row. And then chain 3. Turn your work. And you're going to repeat this until you have a total of 9 rows of 1 double crochet in each stitch. So each row will have a stitch count of 4. And then come back. So now I have a total of 9 rows of 1 double crochet in every stitch. Then we're going to make the button loop. So you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you need a larger button loop, you would make a larger chain. So depending on the size of your button will determine the size that you want for your chain 3 loops. So I'm using these adorable little doggy buttons. So a chain 3 loop, actually a chain 4 loop would work fine. And then I'm just going to make a slip stitch on the opposite side. So just go on to the opposite side and then just make your slip stitch to form your button loop. And then if you want to strengthen the button loop, just chain 1, turn your work, and then make 4 single crochet into that chain 4 loop. And then just slip stitch at the base. Then you can go ahead and finish off, just yarn over and just pull enough yarn through to bury your loose yarn end. Now for the other strap on the back, you're going to count over from your strap that you just finished. Count over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then join your yarn, the same colored yarn. Then just chain 1 and just tie a knot. And then I'm going to bury my loose yarn end as I crochet. Then you just chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then make 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And then that will give you a stitch count of 4, just like the other strap on the back. Then I'm going to bury this loose yarn end a little bit more later, so I'm going to drop that, and then I'm just going to move up to the next row. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, then just turn your work, and you're just going to repeat this until you have a total of 9 rows of 1 double crochet in each stitch across, which will give you a stitch count of 4 for each row. And then you make the button loop the exact same way that you did for the other strap. Now you want to take and fold the top part of the dress so that the back straps are centered in the back and that you have the front of the dress facing you, because we're going to sew the buttons on. So I have about 6 stitches on this side and 6 stitches on this side, and I'm just going to take and see where I want to place my buttons on the front. So I'm going to place my button about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in. So I'm just going to take and place where I would like to have the button. I'll have the top of the head or the top of the button lined up with the top of the dress. And I'm going to use the same colored yarn to sew the button on. So I'm just going to come up and through the button and sew it in place. So go ahead and sew both of your buttons where you want them on the front of the dress. Then just take and bury any loose yarn ends that you have. and then your dress is ready to be placed on the doll. This is what her dress looks like on the doll. It's really adorable. And now you're ready to make the scarf. So I'm going to show you how to make the scarf. So to make the scarf, just choose whatever color that you want. For my scarf, I'm going to use the deep sea blue. So then you just take and fold the yarn over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and bring the yarn through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch that knot down and then cinch the loop around your crochet hook. Then you're going to make a chain. We're going to make a chain of 8. After you make your chain of 8, we're going to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So count back 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to make a double crochet into that 4th chain from the hook. So yarn over, go into the 4th chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, and then you're going to make 1 double crochet in each stitch back across. So now you should have a total of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet in the row. You're going to move up to the next row, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. And then you're going to make 1 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 double crochet into each stitch back across, and then that should still give you a stitch count of 6. And I skipped a double crochet, so I'm going to undo this. So to make sure that you double check your stitch count to make sure that you still have 6 double crochet in the row when you're done. And then you just move up by making a chain of 3. So that's 4, 5, and then I need 1 more in that last stitch. That gives me a stitch count of 6. Then I'm going to chain 3 to move up to the next row, and keep repeating this. Go ahead and turn your work until you have 28 total rows, or however length that you want for your scarf. So for mine, I made 28 rows. After you finish the 28 rows of 1 double crochet in every stitch, you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and then pull enough yarn through to bury your loose yarn end. Now if you want to, you can change colors just like you did for the stockings. You can change colors every 4th double crochet round. For one of the scarves I used red and white and alternated those colors, so that's an option that you can make for one of your scarves. Another thing that I did for one of my scarves is I used single crochet and then just made it just like I did for the stocking. And then I would recommend 60 rows or more if you're using the single crochet to get a long enough scarf. So now you can go ahead and bury your loose yarn ends and then make 2 pom-poms. I used my white colored yarn for my pom-poms. After you finish both of your pom-poms, then just take your tapestry needle and put it onto the long end that you have on your pom-pom. And I just took and put one end of the yarn on one side, and then I took the other long yarn end on the pom-pom and placed it on the opposite side. And then I just took and tied a knot. And then I just took each of the yarn ends and then I brought it through right where I tied my knot, and then brought it through the pom-pom and out anywhere. And then I just used the loose yarn ends as part of the pom-pom, just like I did for the shoe. Then your scarf is ready to put onto your doll. And this is how her scarf looks after I put it on.
The first Noel, the angel did say, was to certain poor shepherd on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east, beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, shining in the east, beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so